Yeah, and it's interesting to see how that pans out. But there's some point I wanted to make about tech guys, because also I'm sure if tech guys really relate to this, there are so many solutions that can come out of this. And there's this analogy of tech bro. You know what a tech bro is?
No.
So you get a job, maybe now there's Microsoft around, there's Google, there's been Andela, there's some remote work, and you can be paid handsomely, if you know what I mean. And I've used that handsomely in quotes.
Okay.
So it become also again confusing if someone who shows interest in you, are they real or it's because of the paycheck?
Okay. So these are the old apps, right? Dating apps where you had to pay to be a member. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying now this is in real life.
Okay.
In real life, whereby you are good in software engineering, you are getting a good paycheck.
I'm with you now. Oh, you have a
and
status
the tech guys, by the way,
status.
are the coolest guys to
very
be
like-
but they're also the busiest. They're the busiest.
Well, I'm being
Right?
biased again. Of course they do.
Yes, let me explain this. So tech guys, most of the time they're coding like 18 hours, 16 hours a day to be really good. And it's quite addictive. And they don't have much time for,
Dating.
ladies.
No, tech guys are married to their jobs.
Exactly.
Oh, no. Especially to coding. Those who code.
But
hey.
at some point they want to have someone.
They come out of
a
the
partner.
cage.
But they're also choosy, right? But they're human, so they want to have fun and they want to.
I didn't know about the choosing
someone.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
because
choosing.
if you're in a relationship with someone who really doesn't understand you, it's gonna be really hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're on the computer like 16 hours straight.
Yeah. I
That's
know
not
this.
so good for a lady. And
I
the
really
attention
I
and,
actually said it's the mistress in their lives and you have to accept it.
Now, and this is personal because there's one specific community member who actually committed suicide. And this is what happened.
Okay.
So he was really good at C, and any developer listening to this, if you're really good at C, you are really good. And one day he just went to work. He had a partner, and when he came back, he found that he had moved without his knowledge, and he didn't know where he moved to, if you know what I mean. So they switched houses so, without his knowledge. So the partner swept everything. All right. Number one, that was quite depressing because maybe he trusted this lady.
Oh no.
He knew this. If you leave someone in your house, you trust them, right? And he knew
She
maybe.
did it on purpose or no? Was it
I
by
have
accident?
no idea, to be honest. But it was quite devastating. And all of a sudden, this gentleman did not recover from that.
Oh my god.
And he was found dead somewhere, committed suicide. So, and this is actually something that is really cropping up even in tech industry, right? Whereby you have a good paycheck and you don't know. So even some ladies might take advantage and say you raped them. And there is now that. So people become afraid even to engage ladies and sometimes they're like, you know what? I'm better single than with someone. And this is not, if you look
So
at
people are
the
single, techie guys are single just out of fear.
majority of them.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah, that
it's
makes
so-
sense.
It's not cool because if the society is that unbalanced, a lot of things can happen. Rape can happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
Spread of diseases, depression.
Or someone
all these
wiping,
problems.
yeah.
Yes.
But just to respond to that, so one, when someone commits suicide, they've been thinking about it for a very long time.
Okay.
By the time they do it, they've been thinking about it for years.
Mm.
So I don't know this guy, I don't know his situation, so
Yes.
I'm not going to speak on that specific, but usually when someone commits suicide, they've been thinking about it for a very long time. And sometimes you will commit suicide over the most, when you look at it as an outside person, what? You committed suicide just because your delivery didn't come on time? It's because they reached, and it really has happened.
Yeah.
It was like
So that's just
it
a
was something
trigger.
that pushed, so this person was already on the edge.
So that was a trigger.
They were just pushed out of the edge now. It was like, I'm done. And sometimes it needs, you know how you're in a very toxic relationship sometime and you have the biggest fights and then one day you break up over the fork that broke. You see what I mean? It's like, that's what happens. So this guy, in a norm, someone who wasn't. I mean, this sounds like someone who was in depression for a very long time.
Yes. Yes.
To do this. So this is someone who needed help for a very long time, very
Yes.
depressed.
Yes.
This was just the last straw. It was like, I'm done. Actually, it gave him a reason to leave.
And it's a beautiful like thinking you've brought into it, because it's been some time, like 7-8 years, that I've been thinking about it. And even when I see young guys who are getting into court and the approach to ladies and even how they talk about it and the confusion, and every other guy they're saying, now ladies, it's not about love, it's about money.
Aye.
You
But
see
it's because it's the
context.
conditioning. It's
Yes.
the conditioning.
Yes, yes.
Men have been conditioned to marry or be with a woman they can control and have power over money. And she's been told, make sure you have a man with money who can overpower you. Even if she reaches you for money, if that's what she still doesn't have power because you still control the money. That's what I'm always saying to women, have your own money. It doesn't matter how much it is.
Yes.
Have your own money. Because if someone is, because there's always someone, when someone has one power over you in the relationship, it's never going to be healthy.
Yes.
So it's the conditioning again. We need to start reframing
Yes.
our minds
Yes.
again. But also, when you keep bringing up, and I think again in the tech space, tech CEOs, when you're doing training for your staff, I think training around healthy relationships is so important. I think that
Very
has to be
important.
important. I think
Very
AT
important.
has to organize.
Yeah.
I'll put that as one of my recommendations.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because I think it's needed, because a lot of us is like, and what this comes back to? We all want to be loved.
Everyone.
We all want to be loved.
They say love is the answer.
we love is the answer. Like, we want to be cuddled when you come out of your coding. You want someone to hug you
Yes,
and
yes.
just love on you and
Yes.
just accepts you for who you are.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's important to find that person. But also what we do, one thing I learned about my healing, we attract our own energy.
Is that the case?
When you're constantly in a negative state of mind, worried about everything, you attract the same people. So I always say to people, and I know from my own experience, when I was dating the same people, I had to take a step back, and I had to talk to myself as one of my clients. What would you tell this client? I would have said, Layla, there's a pattern here. You're dating the same people who are not good for you. So I took a sabbatical for a bit, from relationships.
How many years?
So my last relationship was 2016.
It's like 6 years.
Nearly, yeah. So Sam was that was my proper serious relationship. Again,
I
genuine, because I really had to take care of myself. I had to learn. I had to reprogram myself as a woman.
And change the mindset.
Change of myself, and really, a lot of women go into a relationship always trying to satisfy the man. A lot of men are always like, "Oh my God, I met this chick. She was so great, then she turned crazy." No, because you know why? She's been put in the front the whole time, where she's just looking after you and it was all about you. And then when she gets tired. Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, she's gone crazy. She's not the same person anymore. So as a woman,
yes,
I didn't want to be in a relationship again until I knew I can voice what I don't like,
yes,
what I like,
Yes.
what I don't want, what I can tolerate, what I can work with.
yes.
Be very clear from day one. You don't, and it's not with let's dress up and go and have a drink or coffee when the caffeine kicks in, you're in a good mood. No. This is me at my most vulnerable.
Yes.
No makeup on.
What you see is what you get.
This is it.
and that's quite fascinating if you think about
Because
it.
then let's both meet the real people. But I had to go and relearn. So that women you're describing, this guy, there needs to be an intervention.
Reality.
Because she has been conditioned. You haven't made it in life unless a man's looking after you financially. That's the conditioning.
Yes.
So she feels like a failure if you don't have money. Can you imagine, you not having money becomes her failure.
Yeah.
That's how she's been conditioned.
She's not focusing on herself.
It's not herself. There you go. That's the women. I don't assume it's you we're talking about. Your friend you're asking this for has been...
Well, I'm not dead, of course, I'm here, so it's not
But
me.
what I'm saying, but we've all been there. We've all been there.
No, I mean, but to be honest,
been there.
there are a couple of when I'm sure maybe most Nairobi, especially in Nairobi, you move without your consent a lot. You disagree, or maybe someone is not happy. and then someone moves. So you have to like reconcile or maybe move on and look at it. Okay, cheers. So at the end of the day, when you look at it in that aspect, there's something else that actually comes into my mind about your achievements again. Daughters of Eve.
Actually, can we go off record a bit?
Yes.
I don't want to talk about Daughters of Eve.
Okay.
There was
fine. That's fine.
Let's talk about Dahlia Project.
Dahlia.
Or the Girl Generation.
That's where I was
Those
going next because I wanted to say.
No, let's not mention Daughters of Eve. I'll tell you that outside.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Dahlia Project.
So Dahlia Project was my counselling service that I set up that I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
So Dahlia, we now see women online all over the world, but it was set up in London originally.
Yes.
So anyway, COVID was great. We can have women online. But it was, as I said earlier, I was questioned and like ridiculed, like, oh my God, what's this girl trying to do with the world of therapy? To the point where now it's actually recognized as one of the best practice by the UK government. So it's recognized. So now where it was based, it's based in 7 maternity wards in the UK, and it's growing.
Amazing.
And it has nothing to do with me now.
Oh.
There's a team that runs it.
Nice.
For me, because it was never about me. I designed it for something that I needed at the time.
Yes.
But I recognized and I outsourced it to everybody. I said, if there's a template, use it. So now I get a lot of therapists who tell me they use the training pack.
Yes.
The outline, and this because I want as many women to access the Dahlia Project.
Yes.
So that's what the Dahlia Project is, and it's one of my proudest, I guess, work that I've developed over the years.
Yes.
Because at the time it was non-existent; it didn't exist at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. So it's scalable.
Oh, it's scalable, and I don't even know. I need to find out at some point where it went. But I love the fact that it's become that free.
Nice.
You know that it's other therapists are now looking after the clinic, but there's 6 other clinics in maternity wards.
Yes.
Oh, look, I don't even know who those people are who have been hired.
Yes.
And that's okay. See, that was part of me loving myself.
Yes.
I didn't want to be attached to it like that. Because sometimes, when you start a project or have a startup, there's a sense of like, it's your thing.
It's my baby.
It's my baby. Oh, and let me tell you, I had those conversations with my therapist.
Yes.
And actually, my baby's grown up. We went through the teenage phase.
They can visit if they want.
Now they're an adult.
They're okay.
They're an adult and they're functioning. They're growing very well. If they want to contact me and talk to me as an advisor, perfect.
Nice. That's a good way of looking at it.
And actually, if you go on, if a therapist logs into this podcast, they can go on the Dahlia Project website and the whole template's there. And I would absolutely recommend use it. Create your own one.
Yeah.
You don't even have to call it
So
Dahlia.
you don't
Just
need
use
to contact Dahlia.
No. I outsourced it from day one. Like for me, it's like everybody free. Take it.
Nice.
Yeah, take it.
And that's quite a good way of looking at it because now it can be scaled to any
Absolutely.
place. Now, we have to talk about this as we come to conclusion.
Yeah.
You are a rector. How did that go? How did that come about? And not only a rector, but to one of the oldest universities in the world.
Yeah.
Right? That is St. Andrews in UK. And in my high school, the head of the school was not principal, it was a rector. So when I heard, hey, Leila Hussein is a rector.
Yes.
And actually someone insisted on that more than anything. That's how I got to know you. That was like the first statement. Because I asked, who is Leila? And I was like,
Africans, we love
Leila is a
academics. We like academia. That's how we've been conditioned again. We like academia.
I checked out the university and I was like, okay. How is that? How
So I'll tell you how that came about. So, so with my work, I had the privilege again of speaking in some of the biggest conferences. I lectured.
Just pause there. She has spoken to Oxford, Cambridge, name them. All the Ivy League.
So I was privileged to be a guest lecturer at Oxford, Cambridge, Penn University, Harvard, Columbia. Some I still remember. I need to go back.
There you have it.
So that's some of the few.
Yes.
And then obviously, the previous rector is actually a very good friend of mine.
Yes.
Who invited me as a speaker at St. Andrews. So I was just speaking about my work, and they wanted to screen my documentary at the time.
Yes.
So that's where I went. Then I was invited again. So the students really wanted for me to come.
Yes.
And didn't realize by the way, I never even heard of the word rector. Ever. Even when he invited me, I didn't pay attention to his title. I knew he was doing something with the university, but I didn't actually pay attention to the title rector.
Yes.
Anyway, then during COVID, early stage of COVID, I get contacted by the students.
Yes.
And by the way, these students are the most engaging, really, they don't give up.
Yes.
They sent me, I think, over 100 emails and tweets and Instagram. They were like, you're going to have to talk to us. And I said one day, I was like, oh my God. Because, this is the days when we're online. I'm already tired.
Yes.
So I got on the phone call just to break it down to them slowly. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, Kevin syndrome.
I'm not doing this. And then when I saw, they reminded me of me when I was their age. Like I was hungry to change the system.
Yes. They
said to me, we want to change this very elite university.
Yes.
And they said, their actual words are, you fuck up systems. We need someone who fucks up systems and is not going to apologize.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, great, let's do it. And I said, but guys, I'm moving to Kenya for work. Like, I won't be there. And they're like, no, everything's online. We'll accommodate you. And again, this is part of my self-love again. I was not going to compromise my well-being.
How you operate because of this.
For St. Andrews. See, this is where you go with your self-love.
Yes.
Because
so you're very clear that...
Very clear.
I
was ready to let go.
I'll do it, but...
I knew who St. Andrews were. I know Kate Middleton and Prince William went there. Like, I know the people that went to that place. But I went on that call with the intention of, I'm not going to compromise my well-being for anybody.
Yes.
And it means I'm going to have to let go of St. Andrews being the potential. And you have to run like a party. So different student groups...
Yes.
So I had to run against 2 other people.
Yes.
One of them, her name is Fiona Hill, amazing.
To campaign?
To campaign. You have to run like an actual party. And I was like, oh my God.
This is not just added to you.
No. They have to vote. There's a voting system.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I thought, oh my God, this is not my thing. But they were so convincing. So I was very so we had to build.
So there was that drive like, if you run, we're going
to create a manifesto. So the manifesto had to be aligned with my views.
Maybe God is speaking to you.
So it was for me it was access and well-being was very key to me, because for me a lot of students can't. I went to the poorest part of, like, when I went to college, it wasn't like, oh my God, it's the best college. It was like, hey girl, you got in. Just don't get killed, don't get stabbed, don't get into drugs. That was my advice for my parents when I went to college.
Yes.
Like because I didn't have such access, so I wanted kids who grew up where I grew up in London to have access to St. Andrews. So to me, that was very key. So that was my manifesto. Because a lot of the houses around St. Andrews are for millionaires. So even if you got in with your, academic achievements, you can't afford to live there. You can't even afford to live there. So we had to address. So during the campaign, I found out, a journalist contacted me. I'm like, why does a journalist want to talk to me? Rectorship has been a big thing. Like, it's not. The journalist said, if you win, you'll be the first black woman to hold this position. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh no. I didn't know. That somehow skipped. And the students purposely didn't tell me this. They thought I was going to be like freaking out and not do it.
Yes.
They're like, we didn't tell you. We didn't want that kind of pressure on you. But this one, I'm in the middle of all of it. So I didn't just win. I think I was told I had the most votes ever in the history of rectorship. I think they never had someone who got 45% of the votes. So that proved, imagine, so this is how much you mess up with systems.
Yes.
A black woman got white kids to vote for her the most. It's never happened before.
That's not a small feat.
No, it wasn't. It was literally majority of the students voted for me.
Yes.
And what I did, I befriended one of my supposed to be, enemies, other opposition.
Yeah, that's where you started that.
Fiona Hill is an amazing woman who, she went to the other two went to St. Andrews. I never went to St. Andrews. She is... she was one of the, she works in public policy. She's one of the people that nearly impeached Donald Trump. She has a big profile.
What?
But her work, she comes from a working class background in the UK, meaning also she grew up in similar areas to me. So we partnered very quickly. I said, listen, if you win, so even the way we did the debates, it was not toxic. Her and I, we spoke to each other outside of everybody.
Yes.
I said to her, listen, if you win, I'm going to support you. Because if you win. So our debates was very friendly. Everybody was like, what's going on? So again, messing up the system. Debates with an opposition doesn't mean you have to scream and shout and put them down. Everybody was they were shocked. were like, Fiona, you did such a great job. Can you maybe share? So maybe I can bring my skills to this.
Yes.
And now she's written a book about access, and she talks about how difficult that was for her. So for me, it's really important. So that role at St. Andrews, it was scary. I'm now chairing the board of St. Andrews.
Yeah.
35 board members. I'm the only black person.
Your voice is hard.
And I'm the only black person. I'm chairing 35 white people.
It means a lot.
Yeah. So that's it's a very important role. And I'm trying to change one of their governance at the moment, which has never been changed ever.
Wow.
And it is causing a lot of tension and anxiety, but I'm slowly guiding them in a very loving way. I'm like, guys, there has to be a revolution at some point in any organization.
Yes.
This is the time to do that.
Yes.
So really, it's been and by the way, really, St. Andrews is one of the best activist students I've ever met in my life.
Yes.
Really, and it's because they have privilege. They're privileged students, so they have time to fight.
Mm.
You know, they have food they eat. I said, this is what privilege looks like.
Yes.
And when I see the students, I always say, your fight is needed. Because
Yes.
there are people who don't have time to fight.
Yes.
So you guys have to fight.
Yes.
Over and over again.
What? So, Leila, when you sit and think about all this, just know one thing. You are so powerful. So powerful. And we can't wait to see what you achieve, with the rectorship, the girl child, and keep pushing. Because, and we got you, I can say this, we got your back in terms
Thank
of
you.
tech. If you need anything, I know guys heard about, the app that actually can, show you the laws that support the girl child, the accessibility, the transparency, the conversations. And I take your challenge, so I'll try to host a couple of tech ladies so that they can speak up and be heard.
Yeah, let's create a safe space for women to come. And men play a big role in making sure that happens.
Yes. Yes, so thank you so much, Leila. And it was an honor to have this conversation, because at the end of the day, it's not just about Impact Masters Media. It's about what can we do to move ahead of the pack.
Thank you so much.
As a continent.
Absolutely. And as a community too.
As a community. And because there's so much going on in the world, and we have to step up.
Hey, love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
There you
So
go.
thank you so much. And have a good day, wherever you are. Good day, good morning, good evening. And it's an amazing conversation that we're having here. It's yours truly, Michael Kemadi, or you can call me MK. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, see ya.